first guest of honor. Bill Friedkin won an Oscar for directing The French Connection before revolutionizing the horror genre as the director of The Exorcist, which was nominated for 10 Oscars. John Pielmeier is the acclaimed playwright of the world premiere staged adaptation of The Exorcist, which is coming to the Geffen Playhouse in July. His previous works include the award-winning play Agnes of God. Randy Arney is artistic director of the Geffen. He's responsible for selecting and shepherding the new production of The Exorcist onto the stage. Please welcome Randy Arney.
The opportunity came to me to adapt this book for the stage. My instant reaction was, the first question that most people ask me is, how are you going to make her head turn around? And I thought, you know, that's not the kind of thing we want to see on the stage. And I met with Bill Blatty and I said, look, the way I would want to do this is with a minimal cast, 6 or slightly more. We ended up with 9. And with no special effects, or very minimal special effects. And a play that was incredibly theatrical and presentational. And he liked that idea. He responded to that and gave me permission to go off and write it.
When you're putting the actual performance together, what's your kind of responsibility and how do you think about that?
Yeah, well, the first job is to get a great director, a great stage director. And when I first read this script, we were thrilled to get to do the first ever stage version of this amazing story. And as Bill just said to you, the center of the story is ultimately this incredible struggle for faith, a struggle between faith and despair. And there is nothing more central to the stage than, if the center of all drama is conflict, there is no more primal conflict than between the demon and the human for the soul. And in fact, theater history is loaded with the demon on stage, all the way back to Faustus. And so it seemed like an absolutely perfect thing to put on the stage.
You did this incredibly fast time. We talked about
I did.
How fast did you read?
I wrote it in 10 days. And I've never written anything that fast before. It usually takes me years to write a play. But I was just so jazzed by this book. I read it and was like, I read it when it first came out, but I reread it when the opportunity came to me, and I thought, I just started exploding with ideas and passions and feelings that it just spoke to me in such a deep, deep way. So I let it gestate in me for a little while, and then I went off alone, and I vomited it out of me.
As you said, Stu, the trick is you have one location, a 40-foot opening. And our director, John Doyle, who is a world-famous director, who directed famously a version of Sweeney Todd in New York, where he completely reimagined that, has come up with a central place, a central umbrella, where all of the action of this play takes place. And it's very Catholic in its feel. It's very old, and that gives the whole piece a real authenticity. You come into the theater and feel like you're in literally a church, something that is very, as I said, it is a very serious take on this story.
John, did you reread the novel again before you started writing the screenplay?
Oh,
the playwright?
Yes, yes.
You did.
Sure.
And what did you get from
it?
it?
It was kind of my Bible in a way. Well, what was wonderful about it is that, and how generous Bill Blatty was, is that he allowed me to sort of riff on things that are barely mentioned in the novel. For example, there's a brief mention that Chris had a child prior to Reagan, a little boy who died. And I kind of took that and expanded that in the play into something that is haunting her life. I mean, I think these are, certainly in the play, these are people who everyone has something haunting them.
In the film, there's the iconic music and the effects and everything. How do you create that on stage? Do you have music in the background? How does that work?
Actually, we have been fortunate enough to acquire the talents of a British composer by the name of Sir John Tavener.
Great.
who has
Wonderful.
an amazing, he's a genius, and he has happily agreed to write and adapt his music for our piece. So.
And sound is, and I was noticing in the film, Billy, how critical, what a critical role sound plays. And the way sound, offstage sound, plays in your mind and in your imagination, and your control of sound versus silence is artful. And I know that John, in your adaptation, one of the first things he wrote in the stage directions were how critically important the creation of sound, not only, as you say, having Sir John Tavener for music, but the actual sounds of the play as well.
It's got a great pedigree. Mr. Pielmeier is a distinguished American playwright. I think John Doyle is the best stage director in this country. I've seen his revivals of Company and Sweeney Todd. He did an opera of Mahagoni at LA Opera. He's just great, and Tavener is as good as it gets today. You got a terrific combination. I'm looking forward to it.